something that most people are unaware of. When the number of owners on your documents say how many people own the bike, what they don't tell you is how many bike shops have owned the bike. What they don't tell you is how many people have ridden it. For example, this bike is being sold as having 2 previous owners. Now, I happen to know that this bike has been ridden by about 500 people minimum, because they were queuing up outside the door in Bournemouth when the bike came in. This is an ex-test ride bike. Now, they don't tell you this when you go to buy a bike. They don't tell you that they've had fat, thin car drivers, truck drivers, ass drivers riding the bike, fucking the gears, destroying the engine. They don't tell you this. They just say 2 previous owners, probably little old ladies. So, things to actually look for. If it comes with bar ends, engine bars, things of that nature, these are put on to protect the bike. If it's coming before you even see the bike, then somebody has either put it on because they're inexperienced or because it was a test bike and they wanted something to stop the engine getting too damaged when Sunday riders take it for a spin. So little things to look out for: any damage or scrapes on the crash bars or bungs. They spray over them. Just run your hand down it. If you feel any rough bits, that's because they sprayed it over, probably sandpapered it down. Sometimes they'll take off the engine bars, sandpaper them down, and then spray them and put them back on. Check for any fault lines like fracture points where they could have been bent. I mean, it's down for £5 grand. It has done a fuck ton of mileage. For a bike that's 2 years old, it's done 20,000 miles. Now, considering the age and the type of the bike, that is a lot of mileage for 2 years. Like, for me, I do 20,000 in 6 months, but that's me. Most people only do 20,000 over 5 years. So I'm tempted by it, to be honest. Not so much because of anything I've said. In spite of all that, it's exactly the same price as another bike, which I've never had a Triumph. I've been looking at a Triumph, but their prices are really fucking optimistic in this bike shop. They had one bike for sale. It was a Triumph 675 triple, street triple, £4.5 grand for 2015, which is a reasonable price. But then they sold that, and so they put up the price of another street triple. But the thing is, the other one they're putting the price up on by an extra £500. It's 3 years older. Now, the key point in it being 3 years older is that the 2015 had ABS, a fuel gauge. And yeah, it's those little things that you don't want to go back to. Once you've gotten used to having a fuel gauge, you don't want to have to go back to having to reset your trip every single time you fuel up and being constantly worried that you're going to run out of fuel. So given the choice between a 2-stroke, which this basically is, and a 10-year-old bike with not great mileage, and I don't know, I don't want to get suckered in by the shininess of it. What I want to do is get something that's not going to fuck up. And Kawasaki as a Japanese bike is a lot more reliable than Triumph, which is a German bike. Now, it doesn't really matter if it's German or British. You can argue the toss between that way you want. The fact that, yeah, a British guy may have bought the company, but his parent company is German. Either way, the bikes are built in somewhere in Asia. I don't know if it's Thailand or Taiwan, Thailand. It's somewhere like that in the Far East. So they're built by third and fifth parties and possibly put together in Germany or England. Either way, Kawasaki is going to be a much more reliable build. So I don't know. Fuck it. See what happens tomorrow.